Da-da-da-da. Hold on, I'm gonna make sure it happened to that. We are online. Hello, I'm the captain. I'm the captain of
Hi,
the ship.
I am Frog.
He's Mr. Frog. He eats the bug. I'm gonna check
This
out
is
my own
the end.
stream. Hang
This
on.
is the end. I love you, and then you stop the stream.
Bam, 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 bam. I just want to see chat real quick and see if it does anything. Yay, I'm on there. All right.
We did it. We did it.
Hooray. We did it. Yeah, there it is. Okay. It does show up on my thing, so I'm happy. Sorry, this is the way that things go when you don't have a professional thing like everyone else does. This is the we're the common man, as you can see. As
That's
my
how it goes.
wonderful
Everybody
icon that you
knows.
can see, it looks like it was like MS Paint behind me. So it's like looks terrible.
Is this our first background noise in October?
Yes, it is.
Oh my god, this is the first time people get to see the real me, the Jonkler, I guess.
um the Frogler, the Frog Core,
I wanted to call myself the Croaker, but no one found
the
it funny.
Croaker, because it sounds like you're dead multiple times. You show up, and I'm the Croaker, dies,
Oh,
and then I'm like, yeah, as you could tell, I have Freddy Krueger, sort of. It's hard to tell. So, yeah, so, um, we're going over a video by Doug Walker. He said, like, what's with these cliches, and said we should stop them. And I'm like,
well,
mhm,
he explains exactly what he means by that.
of course he does. Because he is a professional YouTuber, and
Yes.
you know how this is more of the video essay type too. So,
Yes, this is where we get to see Doug in his glory.
behold the mighty Caesar and all his glory.
Oh, Mega Doug.
That's a Simpsons reference, but yeah.
Okay.
Anywho, Uncultured Swines. We watch Halloween Treehouse of Horror episodes. That was quite fun,
Yeah, it was fun.
especially for someone who hasn't seen them before. It's still funny.
Wait, you haven't seen them before?
Oh no, you've never seen them.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've seen the Groundskeeper Willie one,
Oh, I'm just saying. I've seen them. I've seen most of them, and they're embedded into my memory because
and
it's like. Mhm.
I believe I did see the first episode of Treehouse of Horror as well.
I like that episode, even though it's not funny. Well, I can't say it's not funny because they do have jokes. It is humorous, but it's definitely like a. You can tell it's a first attempt, and it's a really, actually, it's really good first attempt for writing wise and how much they take from not just pop culture but from like history, and they pay homage. They don't rip off. Like the Raven is a great example of that, where they take the actual literature and they twist it around like a lot.
Yeah,
But it's still the original uh poem read by James Earl Jones. Like
yeah. Rest in peace, James Earl Jones.
fantastic actor. Guess what? He wasn't just Darth Vader, guys. You guys need to learn some culture, okay? Like
That dude was in the motherfucking Sandlot, and it was awesome.
true. He's also in The Lion King. He's also in The
I
Simpsons.
yeah.
Like he's been everywhere. And
He was in the Simpsons a few times.
mhm. And not only that, he was also an Exorcist too. People forget that.
He, he was.
Oh yeah, he's a um, he's a scientist in Africa. Uh,
You know who's an actor I don't see a lot in movies?
Christopher Lloyd.
I forgot his name, but he like
Hmm.
showed up in Rise of the Silver Surfer and The Mist.
Oh,
Uh, he
Um.
he plays the chief of police in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, okay. I have no idea who that is because it's kind of thing. Like I recognize um people's faces, not necessarily their names, unless they're really famous, like James Earl Jones or stuff like that. You know, it's got to catch on.
Right.
Anywho, let's get to this video
Let's hop to it.
because you're a frog. I get it. Wait, whoops. Sorry, I'm going in between windows. What a crap show. Anyways,
In my opinion, there's a big difference between a trope and a cliche.
so that's why I want to know the difference because I heard that first. Um, is it too low for you?
No, it's fine.
So, a cliche is something done according to the Google dictionary I was looking at. It said like it shows unoriginal writing, and how you can. I think the problem with cliches is that if you rely on them too much, um, and that's usually where the writing advice comes from. Uh, sort of to don't just rely on cliches, like or to like subvert them in a way that makes sense. Because obviously, this video might come down to the answer to all this is just you need right execution, or good execution, I should say, not right execution, because there's not really a right execution for something. Sometimes, it's all about good execution. When it comes to writing, and then tropes are different because tropes is like a Bruce Campbell's like hero's journey. That's a trope, but that doesn't make it bad. It's kind of like the damsel in distress trope, like which can lead into cliches. So that's why they're kind of tied together sometimes as negative aspects to writing. But again, it's all about that's very broad when it comes to just say just because you have a cliche doesn't mean you should avoid it doesn't mean you should avoid it. It's just a rule of thumb for beginners. Like you need to try to not have cliches. It's like a challenge in writing, I think. You know.
A trope is something that you're familiar with, you kind of look forward to in a movie. It's something you see a lot, but it's something that's kind of fun and is part of the structure of a story. And you've
Um
Kind of fun.
kind of fun. Okay, yeah, well, besides the nebulous thing, it's sort of like he's trying to make the audience fill the gaps a little bit, but I kind of agree with that. Where the whole idea is like it's part because tropes are like part of the structure of a story. You can't really separate it out from your
W-
because there's always going to be trope in your story no matter what. It's just that you don't recognize it. You may
Well,
not recognize it or not, you know.
that I agree with. What I'm not too big a fan of is that it's kind of fun. Is
Fun.
like they're not always
Well,
like
yeah, it's kind of
supposed.
funny he said that.
They're not always supposed to be fun.
Well, it's not just the fun part. He definitely like tropes as a positive thing. Like he's putting on these positive aspects to it. And I'm like, okay, so there's a trope. That doesn't make it good or bad. It's all about execution, of course.
Yeah.
I keep saying that a lot. But it's definitely like there are such a thing as like when it comes to journal writing advice, there is such a thing as like they try to teach you at basic levels of like a good trope versus bad tropes. But really, there's when it comes down to it, you can when you're out of that structure, there's no such thing, I think, as a good trope and bad trope. It's all just tropes. And I think I agree with the definitions online for like it's all about um how you write those things because they're going to be in your movie, film, um, TV show, video game, no matter what. So it's like lean into it and sort of enjoy those things, I guess. So whatever. It's just interesting to have these positive aspects about tropes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm talking a lot, but man, I have a lot. It's kind of funny. Like
No,
I didn't
it's okay.
know.
It's okay, man.
I no no. It's just that I didn't know I'd be so talkative around tropes and in cliches.
I mean,
Seen it a million
that's
times.
what we're here for.
No. Also, his room is quite colorful. I like the red paint. And look at
Yeah.
that. Is that Arcane back there on the bottom left and that white one?
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's most definitely Arcane, yeah.
Good. At least he there's some good taste up here besides some of the other things. Like Mrs. Brisby, Bob's Burgers, Spider Girl.
He's got like two Alita
He's
ones, which
got
is
more than one. Like yeah. Um I think that might be I hear he's a big fan of Metroid, or his brother is at least. So
I do think I see a Samus up
yeah,
there.
I think it's the same, but I'm not sure. So oh well, yeah.
Yeah.
Times, but you like it because it sets up the framework to then add new elements on top of it. And the biggest thing is it doesn't pretend like it's
What was that cut? Hang on. Was
That was a weird cut, yeah.
that was well? Hold on. Let me go back.
elements on top of it. And the biggest thing is it doesn't pretend like it's doing something new.
It never pretends it's doing something new. Sometimes it can, like
Yeah.
James' name. Bond's
Also,
name is James. Oh
please
no.
please don't show the Fallout show.
Oh yeah, I know, right?
It takes it.
It's a trope. If you're gonna see a slasher movie, you know the idea is that you're gonna see a bunch of dumb young people get
That's no, no. That's a cliche. That's not a trope. Like
Yeah, that's it.
the cliche is you're gonna see a bunch of dumb people get killed. It's like no, okay. So what if they're smart? That's still a trope though of a slasher film is that there are a bunch of
If
people. I I agree
if you
that it's a trope that a bunch of people are going to get killed. Like that's
if
the
you kind
trope
of
of slashers. But having
if you
them
kind
dumb, that's the cliche.
if you kind of think about it, the Thing is like a
Yeah,
slasher.
that's what I was going to
Yeah.
say. What about Alien?
That's yeah, Alien.
What about
Like there are
Terminator?
is
Like,
Terminator's a slasher? I don't
well,
think that counts.
I mean, he is a stalker going after one person, but it's like, and he does kill a lot of people. But it's like, what about Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Like, what about if there's all these things that directly going? What about Dream Warriors? That's kind of interesting. They weren't necessarily dumb. They were just like in a tough situation. Like,
Yes.
so why do they have to be dumb? I don't get it. Called a Buddhist. What about James Bond? I don't know what's going on over there.
Wait,
killed by
what?
some
On chat, sorry.
Oh,
sort
on
of
chat.
killer, usually wearing some sort of mask. There's a lot of tropes that are involved, and everybody knows it, but that's part of the formula, and they keep adding new things on top of it, and they are very self-aware. They know what they're doing. A cliche
A self because a trope is self. No, a trope doesn't have to be self-aware. I just think you're speaking from your head.
Trope is just a repeated trend in movies, basically.
It can be. A trope could be from way back in the day. Like I said, Bruce Campbell's hero's journey. Like that was used in George Lucas's Star Wars, and then it was used like it's kind of like a trope or cliche. Is like the hero's GRPG hero's town gets destroyed. Like that's a it's a trope, and it can become cliche, which is a repeated thing. But that necessarily make it bad. It's just that you kind of see it coming, and it's considered bad writing advice. It's like no, it it's all about execution. Yay!
Exactly.
That's going to be Pee Wee's Playhouse like thing. It's like he said the secret word. Bam bam.
in my opinion, is a trope that
You gotta love that shield. It's my opinion, which means you can't criticize me for it. But still, I'm not saying he's doing it, but it's like it is common. Usually, it is commonly used. I'm like, it's kind of funny. You state things with such authority, and then you say, "In my opinion." It's like, oh, well, we don't need that because here's the thing: Everything you say on a video is your opinion. It's just when you back it up with your own, not just your own feelings, but with evidence, it becomes objective. So you don't need the, in my opinion, unless I'm not saying you don't use your opinion in your videos, but it's like you don't need to cover yourself if you plan to actually use evidence because it's self-evident that it's your opinion.
That's been around too long is offering nothing new and thinks it's offering something new. It thinks that it's giving you something you've never seen before. You've never heard this liar revealed story before. And when it comes
Oh,
out,
the liar revealed.
I don't think the layer revealed are trying to pretend that it's new.
Is that a cliche or is that a trope? Like
I
it's
think it's.
both.
I
Yeah.
guess it counts as a cliche. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a romantic comedy, or the third act is like they need to come back together. That's a cliche.
Yes.
But the trope of romantic comedy is it's going to have funny and it's going to have romantic in it. You know, that's the trope. You know, where it's uh,
we're really gonna sit on the drama of this person when they're outed as not being an architect or whatever. It's tiring because there's nothing new to it. There's nothing exciting
you're
about it.
showing Shrek as like as a cliche.
That's not even a layer reveal. That's just a misunderstanding.
Yeah, it's a misunderstanding. That's not a liar revealed. He didn't lie.
And plus, even if that is a cliche, it's just like, well, Shrek is not pretending that it's new. It's
No,
trying
it's telling a
because
story. Yeah.
yeah, well, it's not only telling a story, but in Shrek, that misunderstanding leaves a path of how will Shrek react to this, and you could see that he's not just angry, but you could see on his facial
He's
expressions that
depressed, sad.
yeah, well, yeah, he's depressed, he's heartbroken, and you
Hmm.
could tell that he really wanted to live a life different from the one he's always lived.
Because like, yo, yeah, it's the exact opposite what he began as. Yeah, that's
See, with how Nostalgia Critic described tropes, this scene from Shrek is definitely more on his trope side because
yeah, but I would
it
still put this as a it's using a in fact a lot this movie uses a lot of tropes, but it turns it on its face. Like Fiona is a damsel in distress, but she's not defenseless. She takes on a group of men. It's like
yes,
it twists that trope. The only reason why she's in that tower and can't escape is because there's a dragon. No matter how competent she is, it's still a dragon in a tower. Like like
yes, and she just kind of lived with this idea that she should always stick to the status quo, and then Shrek kind of helps her get more comfortable with who she really is.
mhm, um which is not care what everybody thinks about her. This it's kind of funny like that mirrors Shrek where it's like you need to stop caring what people think about you in another kind of light
Yeah,
because people hate him because he's an ogre and he thinks, well, I'm okay with that as long as I'm left alone. It's like
yeah,
she's the opposite. She wants company, but she knows she can never have it. And therefore she thinks that people hate her will hate her. It's like they've come to the very similar conclusion without necessarily like being the same person. It's quite interesting writing. But then again, that's what you call like going a little too deep, but it's not that deep.
no, it's
I don't know why I
it's
use
just
this visual for the lie revealed though.
yeah.
He didn't lie. It's a misunderstanding. But like he should have said like I think what he means by lie revealed and misunderstanding is that like they all they both think they lied to each other. It's like okay,
So, in my opinion, you can still do a lot of these
Stop
as
saying
long as
that.
you're mixing it up with something, like I said, kind of new, like the Liar Revealed story. I think I've seen tons of movies where it's done totally fine because the character being a liar is really, really fun, and especially in comedies, that works out.
So you mean like Shrek? It's a comedy.
No, no, he wants it to be played as a joke. That's
It's
all he
it
wants.
is kind of
He never
funny.
he. I've seen enough of his reviews to know that
Yeah.
he rarely ever wants these to be treated seriously because he just goes like, no, it's just them moping without looking into the actual character and stuff like that.
The whole
And
point of the moping is to be like a introspectional.
yeah,
Like
and
like
I've
there's
go ahead.
Wayne's World. I'm going to spoil Wayne's World. There is a there is a third act breakup because it's making fun of the romantic comedy tropes a little bit where it's like that ending sucks, yeah, and they play along and it is funny, but it's like but that's a totally different thing. It's like each person would have a different view on like, well, you you sort of have to give the people what they want as well. Like if like, oh, we're expecting the trope, it's like, yeah, but you know what? The people those audiences are built for love that trope, love that cliches. And it's like and they keep coming back for it. Even though they know the same formula over and over. So it's like,
I've
mm-hmm.
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. You keep trying to talk. Go ahead.
Okay. I've already explained this with you before, but I don't think I've ever explained it on here.
Okay.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
a good and bad example of the liar revealed, and none of these have to do with playing it up as a joke. They're both treated very seriously. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't describe one as moping. Um, you have Bug's Life, and then you have Rango. Um, and these are both movies that Nostalgia Critic has covered and complained about because the liar reveal trope, and they just mope and all
Even
that sort of thing.
Ants does that, but go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all he describes it as. The reason Bug's Life fails with the Lyra revealed story is that they build a bird. They got this whole plan going around. Everything's fine, and then the Flick's friends get revealed as circus bugs, and suddenly every single one of the ants are like, we don't trust you anymore. We don't want to go through with this plan
Mm-hmm.
without even trying to make sure that the plan even works.
Night
I
Watchman.
mean, and they get screwed over by this decision anyways because they're like, well, we don't have enough food to please Hopper. Fuck. Um, and yeah, it doesn't make sense on a writing level as to why the characters would act this way. That felt more like the traditional cliche of liar revealed. You were revealed as a liar, therefore people will be mad at you. Um, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
fucking He-Man Revelations did this as well, which was even more annoying. But with Rango, it made perfect sense for that one because spoilers for Rango, I guess. Um,
Yep.
Rango Rango gets revealed as, a liar, and turns out a lot of his stories weren't true, and he was just making shit up on the spot. And that gives the other characters a view of the new side of Rango where he was just a doofus this whole time who didn't know what he was doing, and thanks to luck and other things, they were fooled by him. And that made a lot more sense as to why the characters were felt betrayed by him, but they didn't lash out, they didn't yell at him, they just kind of stood there and were like, Jesus. Um, and then it gives Rengo much more character to deal with because now that his facade is over, he doesn't know who he is anymore because his whole thing was trying to find an identity for himself. That's why he created the title Rengo in the first place, was because he wanted to be a somebody. He wanted to be something more than just a pet who got lost on the street. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and in that moment of not realizing who he was until he comes to the confirmation that he was a nobody, now that he was completely empty and he had nothing else to lose, he walks out on the street and tries to reach the other side that the other animals couldn't do because of all the cars. And yeah, that leads into more of the plot. So Rango takes this cliche
Hmm.
and it makes it more believable, and it gives, you know, Rango more character. It makes sense plot wise as to why the characters would feel this way, as opposed to Bug's Life, which none of it really made any sense. And
Um,
how did Nostalgia Critic describe Rango? It was just like, oh, it's just a lie reveal trope. Look at him mope, and that's all he described it as. It's like, dude, you have to look at what was
each
actually
individual
happening.
movie and like decide by then. Don't just look at the trope and disengage. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, of course. Anyways, let's move on.
really well. It's when you get to the third act, that's the moment of truth if it's working or not. If they're really going to be like, no, we're just going to let you sit with this emotion, then it's a cliche. But if they're like, no, we got to
Oh
the
my
point and now
god.
Oh, that's not how that. What's wrong with sitting with the emotion?
What's wrong? It's just like we
That's not
can't.
wrong. I'm sorry, but you're not going by definitions anymore. You're just going by what you're feeling.
Was Rango supposed to walk out on the street and then a fucking random clown shows up and goes like, "This is funny now"? Where?
I don't know what I don't know. It's really hard to sort of like um I don't know. It's really weird. I don't think you've thought this out that much. I just think that you just go with your gut. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I like it now. It's a trope. And like, oh,
Like I
I
could
I
definitely.
don't like it now. So now it's a cliche. And I'm
I
like,
could definitely
what?
I could definitely see him as like watching these movies, and then the second the lie revealed is there, he's just like, oh no, they're treating this seriously. God damn it! Now I don't like this. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you kind of have to get over it. Yeah. Anywho,
we're gonna add in some new spins or some funny jokes. We're gonna zip past it really fast because this is just the framework. You know, that is a trope as
I don't know what that movie was, but moving on.
opposed to a cliche. So, with that said, I want to talk about tropes now that I think are dangerously close to becoming cliches.
Oh, you mean like, listen, we don't have a favorable view of Fallout on
No,
this show.
where's Ficus when you need him?
Well, he said he wanted to do a organized chaos video one day, and I'm like, you got it. It's like you got it, dude.
You got it, man.
They're actually tropes I enjoy quite a bit, but I feel like everyone else enjoys.
That's what. Okay, that's because you like something doesn't mean it's good. I'm sorry, but this is criticism 101 type stuff. This is like it's kind of like when like not to be religious, but I take it from the passage of like John the Baptist said like when I take when I was a a more when I was in the beginning of my faith, walking in faith, I used to eat baby food, because that's all I could take. But once you're far enough into a sort of any position or to any sort of like career, or like this goes for everything, you want more adult food. You want to chew on you don't want the baby stuff anymore. Like how long have you been doing this and you're still in the baby food? Like, I'm not trying to insult Doug. It's just that's how I'm sort of viewing this. It's like get your emotions out of it sometimes. Like, it's separate yourself from the emotions versus what you're actually trying to criticize. It's like because it's called a guilty pleasure. He's done plenty of videos about this. Like, he really likes Batman and Robin, even though he reviewed it badly. So it's like, how this works, but it seems like it's not clicking sometimes because he has to talk about something. Hey, not a problem, Night Watchman. Not a problem.
them so much too that they're being overused and they're not adding that many new elements to it. I kind of want
Well, Hollywood. Well, let me teach you something that's like you're not looking into, which is the other side of things, which is like the Hollywood side, because they're going to keep doing it because it works and it makes them money. Like, of course, they're not going to change. They're going to keep doing the same things because it works, and
Also,
you
this is
keep
the
falling
menu.
for it.
I wonder what he's gonna say about the menu.
The Odyssey. Oh, okay. It's cool.
to go over the 5 that I'm on the verge of getting tired of, and when I see it in a trailer, just like, oh, this again, man, I don't know, but they're still usually
As sort of a, it is kind of funny that I do have this reaction for different things. Where it's like, oh man, it's like, why are they putting that in it? It's like, that's a red flag, but it doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that, like, I'm not gonna go out and see it right away. It's just that I'm gonna wait for reviews of people I trust. And like, when I mean people I trust, I mean people who have like a good analysis, like have a good head on their shoulders. So it's like,
Yeah.
but still,
done well, but I feel like we're on the verge, and I feel like we should get out while they're still fresh, you know what I mean? Unless we're gonna add some new ideas, or yeah, add
it is kind of funny he keeps saying new ideas, and I'm like, so what are these new ideas? Are they just older ideas that we haven't seen in a while? Because that's what I think it is. Because not a lot of ideas are new. It's just that people haven't seen them for a while.
It's just a liar revealed trope is just like, oh, it turns out I was not this thing. And then, a truck hits him, and then Doug is like, oh, that's new.
Yeah, and like,
Therefore good.
that's not new. Like, that's a comedic beat. Yeah. Just a heads
You
up.
know what
Chat
I
to
mean.
stream. Oh yeah. I don't know how to put chat on stream, but it's still there. Chat's still there. Hello, chat. Uh,
Chad is still there, watching us menacingly.
menacingly. But the other thing, what was I was trying to think of? Or like, there's no such thing as a new like there's no such thing as a new trope or a new thing. It's just that they build it up a little bit differently, and you just to see something differently is not good enough for Doug. Hold on, I need to go for a bit.
Okay.
You guys can you guys have a chat up a little bit,
All right.
and I'm gonna go to the intermission. I'll be right back.
Gotcha.
I know. I'll do when I'm off. Okay. I'm loving it. See, they didn't take that long. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm on the real
You forgot the
grind.
mute. You forgot the mute, by the way.
No, I know. Oh, did you
Okay.
hear that?
Yeah.
some new ideas
Okay.
on top of these tropes because they are getting pretty close to being cliches. Number 5, big person escorting little person.
So I just want to let you know, Falco. Just a reminder for you people. He's basically saying these tropes aren't bad. It's just that he feels like these are tropes becoming cliches,
Which
and
is, I'm sorry, but like, tropes are integral to your story. Cliches are not. But it's kind of hard to not do any of them without coming across one of them, people going, you can't have this. Gotta change it. It's so dumb. Like, I wish you would have looked up a definition like I did beforehand, because now I'm going off that, because I agree with the internet's interpretation. Big person or little person. Okay, what's the problem?
he'll explain it.
Now, I have this low on the list because I really like this one. I think a lot of people like this one. It's a great setup. 9 out of 10 times, it's a big dude escorting a kid somewhere in some sort of like dangerous landscape or something like that. But sometimes, sometimes it's a woman, sometimes it's just a little adult.
What you're saying is it's a trope, and it's fine as long as it's executed greatly. Yeah, I knew this was gonna be. Like that's all it is. I just described what you're trying to say, and you're doing this filibustering. Like, ugh.
It's
Oh, or
fucking
something like that.
filler.
Sometimes it's an alien, like in Mandalorian.
Yeah, that one sucks too. Oh my gosh, I said it.
Oh, look,
And it's
it's a baby that he can't talk to or relate to. It's just there to make cute baby noises, and then suddenly Mando wants to protect it, even though he's lived a life of not doing those things.
Nah, just play the sound effect. Wow. That's all people want.
Wow.
Uh,
great setup because you have a little person is usually smarter because
wow, that cut again. Not
Why does he cut like that?
this editing is weird.
again they
Yeah.
usually are in a lot.
Well, it's not really escorting a little I'm sorry, but Iron Giant is a bad example of this because it's
It's
the
not escort. Yeah, it's not
well,
escort.
the little person is escorting the big person because he's trying to teach him about human life. It's almost
Well, I guess he,
that's ET. This isn't exactly the same thing. It's not an escort.
he is saying that a lot of the times they do change it up to make it different from how we're usually used to.
Well, then there again, that's what I mean about. Yeah, it's kind of funny. He did explain it where it's like a trope is going to be different than the like than different than cliches, but like I don't know. This is weird. Like to me, I don't think this is escorting at all. I think it's just it's like ET. You're teaching them about our world and becoming friends. An escort as like Last of Us is an escort because he's in charge. He's not show he is showing her the outside world, but he literally has to protect her, like as like going across the country. That's an escort. Like I don't know if Iron Giant's an escort. Like I guess it is in the broad term, but that's what Doug is. I guess I don't know
Yeah.
what.
Life where it's more social and they can read more and stuff like that, where the other big person, because they're so big and strong, obviously is out much more, doing fights and stuff like that, and doesn't have time to be very intellectual, and both have
You said the Iron Giant when you said that. That's the direct opposite.
their
I don't.
strengths.
Yeah.
My personal favorite of these is a movie that not a lot of people know about. It's a very good movie called City of Lost Children. It's a really surreal, dreamlike movie. It's very dark and twisted, but it's very fantasy centered too. And you have
Of course, he likes that one. His artistic mind
Well,
is out
we
there.
we have
Yeah,
we haven't watched it, so we
I
can't
know.
really
It's
say
just
anything
weird.
about
It's like, oh, it's really out there and different.
it. I mean,
Okay.
I do like my out there and different movies, so
Yeah, it could be good. Who knows?
who
For
knows?
people who don't know, I watched Patton because of this guy, and that's a great movie. So it's a 9 out of 10 movie for me. Like it's really
Nice.
really good. We should watch it sometime. I guarantee you'll freaking love it.
Ron Perlman, obviously a big dude who has the mind of a child, and he's teamed up with this little girl who has the mind of an adult, pretty much. And she's actually a little bit more street smart. She's had to survive for years and years on her own. She's, a little toughy, but she is little. And he doesn't have that much intelligence, got the mind and heart of a child, but he is really big. He can move stuff, he can take out characters. And it's done really, really well. And we've seen this in Last of Us, and like I said,
Again, it happened again. That audio thing. I think it's just the audio he's editing. You know,
Yeah.
it's like wow, because like it suddenly it switches audio. Like that's weird. He cut off words.
The Mandalorian, they are very well done usually, but they are very easy at kind of tugging at your heartstrings, where I think as soon as you see that setup, you already know what it's gonna be. I think you do need kind of more variations on it. Even
You you mean like the variations you showed us? And just because it tugs on your hearts, well, that's why they do it, right? Because they want to tug on your heartstrings easily. like I said earlier, it's like people love these things and they're going to keep doing it as long as it works. Like as soon as it starts making money, they'll change it up. Like or they'll be like Marvel and Star Wars and not change anything and expect a different kind of return. Like that's one what was that? That's one explanation of insanity. They keep doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Even the one I mentioned before, City of Lost Children, I mean, that came out in like the 80s. Heck, there was these old martial arts movies where this like samurai was going around. So even back then, it's been done years and years and years, and it is.
Also, there's that Cowboys versus Ninjas movie. I like that movie.
Ninjas?
Yes, Cowboys versus Ninjas. It's not
Are you
called.
are you,
Hmm.
are you sure it's not Cowboys and
No,
Aliens?
no, no. There's a movie. It's not called that, but it is Cowboys versus Ninjas. Like that's what it is. And here's the
Okay.
thing: they both have their advantages. They don't just slaughter one over the other, but still it is about this warrior who couldn't kill a child, and he takes that child, and so like he betrayed his clan, so his clan comes after him, and he settles down trying to protect this child in an old west town, and so it becomes ninjas versus cowboys. Um, and that's quite different than sort of the usual escort thing.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie.
Is kind of a timeless trope, but like I said, I feel like it's been done a lot more recently, and I think some new elements have to be added on top of it. So again, I have it low on the list because I still
It happened again, but still, I want to ask, like, how many more times have been done? All you name is The Last of Us and
Mandalorians.
Mandalorian. Who else does it?
Well, there's also
Whoa.
God of War. There's Logan.
Um, yeah, but still, those are all very different. I
Yes.
would not compare God of War to Logan because Atreus grows up and is actually very happy. Like,
And then fucking Deadpool and Wolverine happens.
oh yeah, and then Deadpool Wolverine happens. We're not happy about that movie here.
No, we're fucking not.
If for anywho,
do really like this trope, but I feel like it's getting pretty close to its last legs. Number 4, saying nope to a scary situation. Now, this has been done so many times.
okay, how is that a trope and not a
Yeah,
cliche?
I,
I that's
we'll
weird.
see.
There is literally a movie called Nope. You respect the fact that the character is smart.
Yeah, and it bombed. I mean, it didn't. I mean, it didn't
Well,
bomb as much as others, but still, it was like people didn't
I hear
appreciate it.
I hear it is good. So
I hear it's okay from most people, but from general audiences, I don't know how they take it because that's a weird movie about UFO sightings, and like they have some smart things in that movie, but it's all about um, it's done by that guy who did the Get Out, you know, and he said that this is ER said it's worse than Get Out, and he hated Get Out. So it's like, yeah, I saw that one. And also like when I saw the ending, I was like, oh, okay. I mean, it's all about being weird. It's very artsy fartsy, full of itself kind of movie. Is what I hear. But anywho,
Smart enough to not go into a scenario that everybody in the audience is saying, don't go in there, don't do that, kind of thing. Even though, here's my big problem with it, 9 out of 10 times, they still do it. That drives me nuts. In the movie,
well, it's sort of like because we have. It's not that they don't think they're in a horror movie. That's sometimes the problem. Sometimes the problem is that they have no reason to go down there in the first place. Like that's the reason why we tell them not to go down there. At least that's my reason. I'm like, don't go down there. Why would you go down there? What good reason do you have to go down there? You know, that sort of thing. If they have a
Yeah.
reason, I'm like, well, here's the thing about human nature when it comes to horror movies and why they shouldn't go down there. It's like none of them have seen a horror movie, and when they have, they don't recognize it. That's also a problem. But it's like a but as you know, the human psyche, it's like you want to know what's going on, right? You're like, what's going on in there? What's it's like I don't want to see it, but I do. It's the Lovecraft effect, is what I like to call it. It's like it's almost like uh when the Ark of the Covenant is opened at the end of like is it Raiders, right? Where it's like
What?
the Ark of the Covenant the Ark of the Covenant is opened up,
Oh
and
yeah,
it
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
and he tells them, don't look at it, okay? Whatever you do, don't open your eyes. And here's the thing: as a human being, you're tempted to open them, really tempted. And it's like
Yeah.
it's like you're not supposed to look, but you really want to. It's like and I what's it called, that the Lovecraft effect, because like you want to look at the giant thing that's it's gonna make you go crazy. It's like
Movie Barbarian, she does that. She sees this door, opens it up, goes down this dark hallway. She says, nope. And she does something clever at first. She uses a mirror and a flashlight to project more light down the hallway so she can see further if there's anything down there. And it's like, okay, well, that's at least, being a little smart about it. But she still goes in. She still does the stupid thing that so many characters are not supposed to do.
well,
Well, yeah, because if she checked it and there was nothing in there, then I guess it's safer to go in there.
well, I still wouldn't necessarily do it by myself. I'd wait for somebody else, and then do it together. Kind of thing. It's like, yeah, it may
Yeah.
be childish because it's a room, right? But like, what if there's like something you don't want to see in there, and then somebody else is around you to like do the same thing with? That could be seen as a good and a bad thing too. So it's like, in a real life scenario, if you got a strange feeling from your own basement, would you go down there or not? Realistically, you probably would, because it's your own basement. Why are you afraid of your own basement? That's silly.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Falco.
Mm-hmm.
I am glad that we are watching a video like this again.
Mm-hmm.
Because the last time we watched a video like this was like the Cinema Sins Lord of the Rings one. It was just
Mm-hmm.
I mean I like the previous two that we did, but the anime is fascist, and the fucking the whole Star Wars shit, it just melted my brain, and I was like, oh, thank God,
Oh yeah.
comfort.
Oh yeah. This is just the this is just like talking about concepts and stuff like that. So
Yes,
it's a little more highbrow than that.
And
and
I think that's why
Yeah.
Doug is a lot more competent compared to those other
It
people.
is, but it's like, yeah, he's, believe it or not, I like Doug Walker. I really do. But I don't think he knows how to come across in his thoughts.
I'm
Right.
getting sick of this trope. And not only because we've just seen that line used so many times, and again, before it was pretty fun.
That's a cliche. Saying nope is a cliche. That I would call that a cliche at this point. In fact, it's used in Scary Movie. Like, it's like all the uh okay, this is a quote, but like all the people getting killed, so all the black people get the heck out. Like
Yeah.
it's
And
you know
there's of course the stereotypical quote that I guess could count in that cliche when there's like a woman or something that goes, or a guy who goes, "Oh hell no,"
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
something like
That's definitely like, that's my black friend. It's just like
that.
Funny, but they're still going in and doing the thing that they're acting like they're above, but they're not. They're still doing it.
yeah, like it's kind of funny how like Wes Craven has that too, where it's like you should never say, like Wes Craven did it in Scream, where it's like you should never do these things, yet they do them. It's like you're not above them. It's like you think you are, but it's like, and it's kind of funny how movie flashlights are lame. It's like, man, like get a better flashlight.
Oh yeah.
So again, that's kind of a minor one, but I think just on a comedic level as well, it's just being done too much, and specifically with that word "nope." Again, there's just a movie called that now, so I still see it once in a while, and I don't see it as much. Again, that's why it's a little low on the list. But yeah, we should.
Oh, that was his other movie. The guy who created Nope created the Candyman,
Yeah, Candyman.
the Candyman remake, which is about how bad white cops are. I hate it. I hate it.
Wait, did you actually watch that movie?
I saw the I well, it's story time. I'm gonna be pulling the rags. So I work in a movie theater, and so I had to, like someone's looking for their watch. At a seat, I think it was a watch. It might have been a wallet, a key, whatever. They lost something. So I was inside the thing, and I was looking at it, and like it's really hard to see because it's a dark theater. Even though it has a big screen, it's still trying to look for it. And the movie was playing, and it said a whole bunch of like the most racist things against white people, and I'm like, oh, so this is what this movie's about. And I couldn't really concentrate on my job because I was like, I couldn't believe what I was hearing, which I don't remember the direct quotes of. But yeah, it's definitely one of those like it happened I think right after, like a year after the Summer of Love. But still, it was quite it's very politically charged. Like it is insane. So, anywho,
Probably start phasing that out. Number 3, Eat the Rich. Now, this is something
oh my
that.
gosh, is this what I think it is? Is this Glass Onion?
No, I don't think this one is Glass Onion.
I
Ah,
want to say 2 years ago, we had a lot of these movies. We had it with Triangle of Sadness. We had.
um, what was that movie we watched last night?
Ready or Not?
Ready or Not had that too. Eat the Rich.
Yeah.
Sort of. It didn't quite say it, but it's like, yeah, they're rich, therefore they're evil.
Ready
It's
or
like,
Not was still unique enough to be okay.
yeah, I mean, uh, but yeah, I do know what they mean. It's like, haha, the rich are evil. We need to take down the rich because the rich are bad. It's like, which is kind of hilarious because most of Hollywood, you have more money than anyone else ever, even the lowest paid ones. And I'm like, you live in comfort. I remember
Aren't
when they
aren't
were in
rich people?
lockdown, they were saying like, "Oh, I can only have two. Look at my two things of ice cream I have in my freezer. It's only two." It's like, are you serious?
I only have two tubs of. It sounds like a boogie thing. I
I
only
know.
have two tubs of ice cream in my fridge.
That was
I'm
it.
starving.
I'm starving. I need three at least. It's kind of like I remember like a. It's like Goku went fishing. Dad went fishing, which means seconds.
Oh my god.
Uh,
I,
Anywho, yeah.
uh,
Sorry. Go ahead.
oh, what was I gonna say?
I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know.
I remember it was going to be like oh yeah, rich people suck. Am I right, guys? Now excuse me while I sit in my $40 billion mansion or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. It's like I'm gonna burn this $100 bill because why not?
Like, thank God Nicolas Cage isn't that hypocritical because that dude like lived in a fucking castle apparently.
Oh, dude, these people live in like neighborhoods inside their own house. It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I never get these people who say that it's just like the rich are evil. It's just like, aren't you rich? It's like, no.
Remember Canto Bite? Capitalism is bad.
Capitalism is bad. Now, excuse me while I work for Disney, the
Did
one of
Disney?
the highest grossing companies of all time.
Yes, and one of the most greedy and most evil companies of all time.
It's like if I'm pretty sure Amazon Prime has done this once.
Amazon Prime's done it lots of times.
Yeah,
It's called Twitch.
even though it's fucking Amazon.
They own Twitch, what is another evil platform. Anywho,
We had it with the menu. We had it with
uh-huh.
Glass Onion. And again, I
Hey,
like these movies. I really like the menu big time. And I feel like they added just enough of a unique spin on it or a comedic take. I mean, these
what about The Last Jedi? You should mention that one.
Well, I think it makes more sense to talk about it positively
More recently. Yeah.
with the menu, because
Mm-hmm.
the menu has a lot of interesting characters and different
I know.
ideals on what each of the people represent.
I,
I really like the menu. I know I said I really liked Ready or Not, and then my opinion on it kind of changed a bit to it just being okay, but I am
mhm.
genuinely sure that the menu is still a great film.
Okay.
are usually comedies. I think that helps a lot if you're legit really funny with it and you do add these extreme satires on top of it. My biggest problem with this, and I can't be the only one that's brought this up, is that the majority of people who write, direct, and star in these and even produce these are usually rich. So it always feels
No. Hollywood is rich. Okay? Get that through thy skulls. Okay? Unless you're Angel Studios. Oh, can I explain what we're doing? We're watching the video and we're commenting on it as we pause it, and sort of to talk about ideas as the video goes on, and we're sort of criticizing him as as the video goes on. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah, that's what we're doing.
feels a little hypocritical whenever you see something
It
like
is
this.
hypocritical.
The one that stood out to me the most was probably Glass Onion, and I like that movie. And again, to its
Of course you do. It's a Ryan Johnson flick.
credit, it's more of a mystery. But when they're kind of lampooning these rich stereotypes, kind of these airheads and this world they come from, the world of privilege and everything, I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, well, you directed a Star Wars movie. You're not exactly like an up and coming, struggling director here. That one very much seemed to really mock types. There's one guy who's very clearly supposed to be like a Joe Rogan type. There's one who's supposed to be kind of like a Kim Kardashian type. And even though
They play Among Us, and the main character is really bad at Among Us because it's too simple. And I'm like, yeah,
Don't remind me of
the
Glass
world's
Onion,
famous detective is bad at Among Us. That makes no sense.
they don't straight up say that's who these people are, it's very clear they're borrowing heavily from those types. The movie does work. I like the movie, but
The movie does work. I like the movie. Like, thanks for that.
The Glass Onion
That
isn't good.
that doesn't surprise me that all the artsy people like it.
I feel like something like the menu goes a little crazier with it. I think that's always when I like these stories the most, is when they do
It's probably written better.
go really, really crazy, and you're still looking at the character doing this or characters doing this and say that person's nuts. You can see like where they're coming from, but they're still crazy. And I think the way you can make them uniquely crazy and even more entertaining, the way somebody can uniquely find a way to speak to that crazy and get out of that situation, that's what's really entertaining about it. So that adds a new element on top of this scenario. Something like Triangle of Sadness, I like the movie. I don't think I liked it as much as like a lot of critics did, but it's a good movie and it's very much hitting the nail on the head, but it is well done. And I think there are always going to
I've never heard the triangle of what? A triangle of sadness? Is that what he said?
Triangle of Sadness, yeah.
I've never heard of it. Have you ever heard of it?
No,
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if it's good or not. So
Okay. I'll take his word on it then. I have no idea.
be moments not only of like great divide but great imbalance, and the greater the imbalance is and the greater the divide is, the more it's probably going to be talked about, but also sort of the more it's not going to have a ton of nuance. And that
Well, yeah, that again, it's like this shows a lack of research or the lack of trying to toe the line of being on the fence about this sort of stuff. But it's like Hollywood is full of greedy douchebags. Okay, like they don't care about any of the art stuff. They just want your money. Like
Also,
that's a very jaded view, but the it is the truth. Like and things get turned down because they don't have enough of their politics in it. Like it happens all the time in Hollywood.
get a new chair.
Oh yeah, that chair's. Oh yeah, look at that tear on it. Wow. Yeah.
And he's got a towel over it, which means the chair is probably fucked.
Yeah, probably.
Is kind of the thing that, again, we're not quite at yet with these, but I feel like we're getting closer.
I think it should be done with. Like, just stop it for a while. It's like, and then you make fun of like a certain political like system. Like you're not allowed to point and laugh at yourselves, really. Not to the extent that they used to.
And closer to, but it is in there. I can't act like the examples I listed are all just black and white movie, us versus them. They're not. They try to add some real humanity to these people.
No, they don't.
Not when you show Glass Onion. They're
not in Glass Onion,
they're
dude.
caricatures.
Not in Glass Onion.
They're caricatures. Like it's like, get it? This guy, he's like a right wing guy. It's like
he's a right wing guy who
he's
complains about who complains about left wing people complaining about breast size, and then at the same time he gets fucking yelled at by his mother because he lives in his mama's basement.
Because he lives in mama's basement. It's like, yeah, really, really on. It's. I'm sorry, that's not just on the nose. That's just like, that's like one of the biggest. That's a cliche. Like that's not a trope.
That's literally just Ryan Johnson going like, "The Last Jedi haters." Am I right?
Sorry, that's Knives Out.
well, he does it. He does it in Glass Onion too, man.
He's like, it's like, I'll destroy this masterpiece. He burns the freaking Mona Lisa, and it's like, that's the OT. If he would love to burn the OT, like
I always quote Das bullshit when we get to the Mona Lisa burning part of anything to make a rich man cry. Am I right?
Oh,
it's just like, do anything, like burn the fucking Mona Lisa
and have a really crummy act too.
Wyatt at the point where I'm just like, get rid of it, because I mean that one you can't get rid of. It's always gonna come back. If you're gonna do it, keep going crazier with it. Don't act like you're the
okay. I want you to do it where they're dancing on the sun, and they don't get burned, and they're in space. That's really crazy. Yeah, it's like,
oh, it's symbolic because the rich people live on the sun,
and they're like, we're burning it, but man, we paid for this. It's kind of funny I say that. Oh, I think I got that from with Futurama, because like there's a you know what the real world is, right? On like MTV, you know.
I don't know.
It's a reality show where they put a bunch of like young people together. It's like it's kind of like Big Brother, except they're all like teens going into adults. You know, so it's like so they all put them together in this house, and so like one of the jokes on Futurama is like, it's like next the real world on the sun, and then Leela's like, they don't even know how expensive it is to live on the sun. It's like it's like
I'm just picturing like this parody scene where like a spaceship is driving by and then there's just a farmer on on the sun with like his little house.
There's a farmer on the moon,
and then he's like watering plants on the sun.
I can't really grow crops here today. I have to do it on a dark spot. That's funny because
May-
there's a farmer on the moon in Futurama. Like,
Maybe I can do it on Mercury. I
we
don't
should
know.
watch you should watch Futurama. I think you would really enjoy that series. There's a lot of jokes like that, but they make more sense as like because it's a comedy and parody. But it, anywho, like yeah, that's what I mean. It's like that's definitely more ridiculous.
First one saying this really adds some sort of crazy new point of view on it where somebody can watch and say, wow, that really changes the way I look at this now.
It's a no. I don't think that's going to happen because people know there's a class issue. Like, in fact, it's not even the first time. This has happened in the '80s. Like, this has happened like in a whole bunch of like it's been happening for years, and they have done it in new and sort of like it's so direct in those ways. But again, I'm going to be a broken record because some new people are here. It's all about execution of your writing, like, and how you direct your people to do it. Like, the reason why you're getting tired of it now is not just fatigue. It's because it's not the execution is so bad that you're starting to notice that like maybe it's run by a bunch of activists. Maybe that's the reason. They don't care about the storytelling or the art form. They care about getting the message out there. That's it. It's the same thing that happens with like Christian studios. It doesn't matter what the quality is. It matters about the message getting out.
Yep.
Instead of just kind of preaching to the choir. Number two, the one F bomb. This is one. Sometimes it gets a laugh, but man.
PG-13. That's the reason. It's PG-13.
Well,
I
it doesn't make it any less annoying when it happens and it doesn't fit at all.
well, yeah, because it's the one F bomb, and I'm like, so what? Would that
Yeah,
be?
because you would never hear an F bomb in a Star Wars movie.
That's also true, I think. But like,
I am all the fucking Sith.
yeah, thank you. Um, and then there's like well, yeah, because PG-13, like all the people in Hollywood love PG. What is it?
I was just thinking, it's just in Rise of Skywalker. It's like somehow Palpatine fucking returned. I don't know.
What if those two like those two kiss at the end? They said like, fuck.
Fuck, man.
It was like I hate this. I'm not gay anymore.
A Jedi's weapon should have some more fucking respect.
Yeah. Anywho, the
Yeah.
oh man, I forgot what I was gonna. Oh, that's right. They love PG-13 over there in in like big studios because it allows for
Yes.
more people to fill the seats. Because adults can
Yes.
go see it without feeling like without feeling too bad about their kids seeing it, and then like all the teenagers want to see it because like ooh, it's a little bit risque. It's like and like R is too restrictive and PG is seen for little kids. So it's like, hmm,
And then you have your R-rated movies that do
that's what I
make
said.
it.
Oh, mm-hmm.
You do have your R-rated movies that do make a lot of money
Uh
because
huh.
great writing and great presentation, like
Listen,
Joker.
yeah, it even Deadpool and Wolverine proves this like wrong. It's like it's.
Uh,
uh, I'm just saying, it made a lot of money. It's an R-rated movie.
it did, and I'm so fucking sick of hearing people
Yeah,
go like, "Well,
I am salty
you
about
see,
that too. Yeah,
you don't like it, but it made a lot of money. It's the highest grossing rated R movie." It's like I don't fucking care. It's a
money
shit movie.
money is not a sign of quality. Like that's a dumb argument. It's the same argument. It's like if 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 51% of the population committed suicide at once, doesn't mean you should do it too. Okay? Like that's a popularity fallacy. Like
Yeah.
I'm really getting sick of it. The biggest laugh I got out of this, I wonder if it's the one you're thinking of too, was
Mhm.
in X-Men First Class. Xavier and Magneto, the recruiting mutants, and they see a young, quote unquote, young Wolverine at a bar, and they start to talk. It just tells them to F themselves. And that's it. That's his cameo. I mean, literally, his one cameo
They
in the
used it
movie
well,
is
I
go
guess.
F yourself.
All right.
And hilarious, fantastic. They saw it got the biggest reaction. So every X-Men movie after tries to create it, and it's painful.
These are not recent, are they? I mean, is that really a trope? Using the F bomb once in the PG-13? That's just a rule that they made,
And
and
I
they
mean,
use it.
the last time that I saw a PG-13 used this actually did it pretty well, even though the movie wasn't that great. Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Hmm.
Um, with Nebula trying to open a car door, and Chris Pratt is trying to Star Lord is trying to tell her how to open up the door, and it gets to the point where Star Lord gets so mad that he just goes, "Open the fucking door," and it's a really good moment, and I think that's a good way of using the F bomb in like a really comedic way.
Well, it's just that's what I mean. The studios put this restriction on you, and they're using it within the rules. It has nothing to do with tropes. So it's like, why is this a trope talk versus, and then why is it a cliche? Like, I don't get it.
I never say this enough, but every time I watch a Nostalgia Critic or Doug video, no matter what I do when I pause, it always ends up on a very unique face of his.
Oh yeah, he's very animated.
Yes.
He looks like Charlie Brown now, but yeah.
It never works. And every single time I've seen an X-Men movie after and it gets to that moment, it never gets a reaction. They always leave like a pause where it's like you're either supposed to applaud, or you're supposed to laugh, or you're supposed to like really take it like, whoa, that's chilling. Like I think in Dark Phoenix, like Cyclops says it. It makes little baby Cyclops. It's just like, well, what is that supposed to? But even outside of that, even movies I like Alita Battle Angel, they do it in there. In the sequel to Get Shorty, Be Cool, a movie nobody remembers, he does in the opening, but at the very least he does a little bit of a spin out where they're talking about the movie industry, and it is a PG-13 movie. For those who don't know, I mean, like, I guess he does explain in this scene, he's driving and he says, I'm getting out of Hollywood. There's so many rules that don't make sense. Like, did you know you can say the F word once and the movie can still be PG-13, but if you say it any more than that, it'll be R. You know what I say? He says F that as a PG-13 movie.
Well, yeah, that's the rule they impose on themselves. So
Yes.
it's a trope because they're using the rules. Do you want them to be more creative with it? Is that what the criticism is? If that's the case, it shouldn't be just using the F word. It's how they're using it's how they're using the F word. So how is this a cliche? Like, I don't understand. Or am I missing something? Is it like is I I will let him continue.
A little on the nose, but cute. Not a bad way to start off the movie. But I feel like it's being abused a lot now, in that so many films are doing it and they know they have that one, they know they can get away with it, so they think it's gonna get a big laugh, and it usually doesn't. If anything, it just doesn't carry that much weight anymore. It's so rare that word can.
Well, that because like everything's PG-13 now. That's the reason. Like, because what I said earlier, it gets the most butts and seats. Like, theoretically, like from a business standpoint.
Can be used rarely and get a laugh, or used all the time and get a laugh now. There are times where it certainly can, definitely. As someone that's used it a lot in the past, I can definitely say there's times where you should save it and times where you just throw a million, like machine gun F-bombs, at you. But I feel like nowadays, in this day and age, like it just doesn't carry the same weight at all. Unless you really have something that's just like, dude, this can.
That's Bruce Almighty where the F word is
Yeah.
used. Whatever, I don't know.
Cannot work unless we use.
I mean,
extra
I've
F-bombs.
always loved the one in Anchorman where it was like, what
Oh,
was it like? Go fuck yourself, San Diego, or something like that.
I have no idea. I've never seen Anchorman.
Oh,
I'm not a
okay.
Colin Farrell person. Like,
It's
to
a
be
great.
fair,
It's you mean Will Ferrell?
Will Ferrell, whatever. I don't like him, so I'm like, eh.
Okay.
But sure.
This is gonna get the audience howling, kind of thing. Like you really have to add something new to it, and
Well, I'll give Doug some
It's
credit.
it's always add something new to it. It's never anything else. It's just like just add something new to it. Make it crazy. Add something new to it. Make it crazy. It's like stop.
Well, I
Stop.
think I think it's all it is. Like, and with the same response, it's all about execution. But I'll give him some credit. He is asking a good faith argument, sort of maybe try to complete whatever he's trying to say. I think what I was saying earlier about like he wants people to think about how they're going to use that one F word instead of just doing it for the same thing, which is a quick laugh. And I'm like, yeah, that'd be a lot more structured than what he's trying to do.
just yeah, I don't know how you would do it right now. I'm sure there is, but yeah, I you really have to have some real gold
Great advice. I have no clue.
there in order to do it now. I think just some real hilarious comedy. And the number one trope turning into a cliche I really think we should stop is main characters just not getting killed off by things that should kill them off. This is huge in horror movies. I mean, like all over the place, but even in like action films and dramas and suspense and thrillers. I've never been shot or anything like that, you know, but I was trying to open to something. I got a little knife when I was a teenager, and I was trying to open something. It went boom right into my thumb. I went, ah, and it was, you know, blood all.
Is that how blood the noise comes from your hand?
I mean,
Uh,
you know how
I,
it is.
I understand, but still, it's just funny. It's just funny to me. You know what?
Yeah.
That got a real chuckle out of me. You know.
All over the place. I don't know. You say I got a little bit of a scar there. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, he's been in a war.
Doug just outright goes, "Yeah, I was a soldier in Vietnam."
Oh my gosh, I'm like Wolverine.
It's like the fucking Family Guy joke where Peter is like dressed as a clown while the rest are regular military men.
You guys are dumb. You guys are dumb. They're gonna be looking for soldiers. Like,
Yeah, they're looking for army guys.
No. It's more like Stewie and Brian trying to get out of the military. It's like, come on, shoot me.
Yes, and then just shoot each other in the foot.
Family Guy went downhill so fast. Anywho.
It did.
If you can see, it's not like red or anything, but it hurt. It really.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna do the EFAP thing. So like I'm gonna go way off topic. So like speaking of injuries, it's not much of a story, but like I was out playing and we have a garden out here, and so like back no back in the day, and and the house next door was being built, and they left out there some debris. I'm sure they just missed it, but like I was playing a little too close, and all of a sudden I stepped on something, and it went into my heel. It was a nail.
Oh.
It went all the way through.
Oh.
And I was like, ah! And so they're like, oh, okay. Like, and so I ran back and they're like, well, it's like, it doesn't hurt. Like, yeah, it hurts. Like, well, that's not the, it's like, and then my mom was like, well, the concerning thing is not the nail itself. And I'm like, what? It's like, yeah, like, we need to make sure it's not infected. It's like, oh no.
Yeah,
So
I remember when one of my
Mhm.
friends as I went to his house a few times he
Mhm.
just had some thumbtacks just lying around on the floor, and I told him
Uh,
that's not a good idea. You probably shouldn't do that. And he was like,
no.
no, it's fine. And then one time when I was watching a movie with him, I was walking out, and then my foot lands right on a fucking thumbtack. Uh,
Oh.
and
Hmm.
it hurt like hell. It didn't bleed at all, but
Yeah.
it fucking hurt. And
Mm-hmm.
After that, me and my other friend would just call one of my friends the Thumbtack Lord, the Lord of Thumbtacks, and so I have him on my fucking phone contacts as Thumbtack Lord.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, let's not go any further. Let's not go any further.
yeah, yeah.
But like,
Sorry.
but here's the thing though. It gets worse because like around 2 years later, I was like, oh, they probably got rid of all the stuff. It's probably fine. So I'm like, a bit more worry, and so I'm like, la 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 la, and all of a sudden, like, I'm like, ah, it's like, and so I'm like, oh no, another nail went through my foot.
I once stepped
No, no.
on glass. It
And
was
here's the
not a pretty
thing.
picture.
Here's the thing. It landed in the
Yeah.
same spot, and I was like, well, come on, what
Oh,
is this? And so I'm like,
really?
oh, I said, oh no, it's a brown nail.
Oh shit.
So I'm like, hey, I think I might need a shot.
Yes,
And so
definitely.
okay, we'll have it looked at. So like, how does this happen to me? I made my mistake.
Got nowhere to run, but life goes on.
Anyways, this haunting picture of Doug is staring at me. I don't like it.
Oh yeah, I was about to say it's like you can make analog horror out of this fucking guy.
uh,
Really hurt. And I'm just holding like like kind of thing. And I'm thinking to myself, man, we had to go and we had to get stitches for that.
you're right. Movie people don't hurt like regular people, but there's this thing called suspension of disbelief, right? When John McClane is like having his feet, you know, in glass, that's far more realistic than like Neo when he just does his thing. And I'm like,
You mean wait? Did you mean John
John
McClane stepping on
McClane,
glass?
Jimmy Kimmel.
Stepping, stepping on glass, or do you
Yeah,
mean like
he's
Bruce
walk.
Willis in the movie Glass?
No, no. Oh yeah, that's right. He was in glass in Die Hard when like John McClane is stepping on the glass. Yes, it really looks like it hurts, and it does
Yeah.
do realistic damage. But still, suspension of disbelief does go in a little bit because of this. Like he does kind of like walk around in them, and it's like, and like he still has no permanent damage, and I'm like, yeah, he has to move on because he's the main character. Um, like what he's talking about is plot shields, and here's the thing: it's like I believe that like if you don't want your main character to be killed, you are sort of putting the plot shields up, but you have to make that believable. Like you can't just make them live just because or not get hurt. It's like damage must be done to your character.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the stitches hurt and everything. I'm thinking to myself, if that's like adrenaline-filled teen me going, when something like that happens, I'm thinking of characters that just constantly are hit by cars, dropped off cliffs or roofs, or break their legs, or get shot several times.
Well, to be fair, he gets a second win from that. Like this is Princess Bride, a very good movie, very simple movie, and
I have not seen it.
it's really good. Um, it's one of those like beginner movies, because it's very straightforward, but it's really good. It's what do they call it? It's a dive that's done competently, but it's not complex. So it gets a high score just from not trying to be, not trying anything like, well, complex. you know, um, and like he gets stabbed right there. As you can see, he a throwing dagger gets stabbed, and he is able to deflect the stab of a rapier, and then they start sword fighting because he gets a second wind. Because there's motivation in this scene. It's not just he gets back up. There's also motivation why he gets a second wind.
Times.
All right.
And the reason I still don't quite say we're at the point where it's overstayed its welcome is because of horror films. Not with the main characters necessarily, but with the monsters, with the boogeymen, with the
Really?
slashers. That's part of the fun. We know.
No. I think if they should have died, they should have died. I don't care if it's the monster. I don't care if it's the main character. That's
I,
it depends, right? And of course, like when the movies go on, it's like, oh, they have supernatural abilities which make them live, and I'm like,
one,
boo. It's like,
one of my complaints is Halloween Kills, where fucking Michael gets like shot, beaten, all this sort of thing. I think he gets stabbed. I can't remember, but
oh yeah,
he's getting
Halloween
hit.
Kills is
He's
just terrible. Ugh.
Yeah, he got hit. He got hit by fucking baseball bats. I think crowbars. I don't know, but he's getting hit by all these things. He gets shot, but then he gets back up and kills everybody. It's like, no, he should be fucking limping. I don't care how strong he is. That really hurts.
Mm-hmm.
That trope where no matter how many times you shoot them or drive over them or whatever, they're still going to be alive somehow because they're so evil. They just have so much evil in them that nothing can say. It's going to take more than that, more than the average person. And that I'm okay with, surprisingly, even though you always know it's coming. That's kind of part of the fun.
Oh, as long as it's fun, it's okay. Okay. It doesn't matter the context, right? That seems like the way it is. I'm like, I don't like that he said that. Like, I don't think he realizes that like this is okay to a general audience sort of thing. It's like, yeah, that's true because like, you expect it coming and it's fun. Because but then again, it's like didn't he say something about that earlier? How like if it keeps repeating itself, it becomes a cliche. And I'm like, aren't these cliches that need to go? They keep repeating themselves. How can you say this and say like it's a cliche that needs to go, but it's fun in this one case? It's like it seems you're in the battle with yourself as usual. Whoa, hello.
Hmm?
Sorry, I heard a truck on your end. I think.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. It's like be careful. Don't stay on the road while doing the show. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
What gets me, and again, this is something I saw in Barbarian without going into too much detail, is when the main character, especially, I mean, usually the main characters, again, particularly in horror films, are not particularly strong or anything like that, are tossed around like a rag doll. I mean, drop stories high and shot and stabbed and everything, and they walk.
Yeah, that is kind of what something happened. What the movie, Ready or Not. I was like, she had to do all that stuff, and she gets hurt, but then after that, she's kind of fine with it. And I'm
I
like,
mean, she doesn't get like major dish. She doesn't get like stabbed or anything.
she got a hole through her hand,
That is true,
and she got
but
ripped by a fence, then gets knocked out. And I'm like, yeah, you're not really fine to take on people with a knife, like, but whatever. It's good again. Like the main character must. It's kind of funny. I'm going to use his rules. Like I do sort of accept it because it is a horror movie that they're supposed to make it a certain point. Because I never expected her to die. Like so, and I was like, I was never really surprised that she got rescued. And I'm like, but still, like there is a point where it's like when you see it in other films, you're like, oh yeah, that one is bad because this one does it way better. You know.
right.
Away like with a limp. Well, man, it really hurt them because they got a limp, and I'm sick of that. I'm sick of somebody just like being destroyed in like a nuclear bomb, and they just limp away. In the last Black Panther movie that came out, I guess you can make the argument like she took whatever the super Black Panther juice is, the Black Panther spinach. I don't know what it's called, but
Black Panther spinach. Oh man,
Oh my god.
I have to super chat Mahler that. That's so freaking good.
So we ran out of the purple flowers. What do we have left? And she just slowly raises a can of spinach. You see, if she fucking ate that spinach, Namor would be fucking dead.
And then she'd go to speaking to herself like, "Hey, the Marvel Universe, hey,
I mean, she gets like I think stabbed like through the stomach, and again they just walk away with the limp. What I like
and
is
she
when
just flips, and she has her freaking mask off. Take on it. I'm
Why do you
tired of
have
that.
your mask off? I
That's
know you're angry.
that's a cliche, okay? That needs to die, okay? Like,
I'm watching anything, a comic book film, a horror film, suspense thriller, whatever, and somebody gets, I mean, just like a stab or something like that, and you feel it, and the acting is so good. I mean, it could be something like just a stab in the arm, and they just act it so well that you feel that stab. You feel like in the
oh,
Oh yeah,
jeez,
that was a
jeez.
great scene. Yeah.
Yeah, what? Wow, he actually had stuff. He's related. Yeah,
there is going to really slow them down. I don't think you need to go as over the top with so many things hurting these characters.
keep it grounded as possible in order to make people have like there's repercussions for your actions. Like when you ground something like that, it's like then you realize like holy crap, people could actually die at any time because it's not this stretched like it's horror movies kind of turn into comedies when when the gore goes like really out there, you know? Uh mm.
Fallout is another good example of that, where again, part of it is the exaggeration, certainly.
Oh no, he's using satire. It's a defense of
God damn it!
Fallout.
I'm fucking.
No.
I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this, man. I don't want to fucking deal with this secret, with this fucking
Yeah, some other
crazy
time.
again.
Yeah, it's like because it's satire doesn't mean it gets away with everything. That's all we're saying.
Yeah.
And I do think some of that is played up for comedic effect. I remember there's a character taking off, it was either a sock or a boot or something, and literally like a toe is hanging off like that. You know,
Yeah, it's funny because he betrayed his other friend and he's supposed to be a paladin. Whoa. Like, yeah, satire.
that's pretty funny, and I think it's supposed to be a little comedic, but at the same time, I think when they're trying to get to real suspenseful moments and real moments where you're supposed to be like afraid for the main characters, stuff like that, you're not as much because you know you can kind of throw anything at them and they're gonna be okay.
Yep. I agree with that.
Why is he pulling up
It's like
Revenge of the
that.
Sith?
What?
Did he say Fast and Furious pulling up a clip of Anakin?
Hold on. Let me go back.
No, you can kind of throw anything at them and they're gonna be okay. If it's like Fast and Furious, it's like
It's like Fast and Furious shows freaking Revenge of the Sith.
Is he gonna say Revenge of the Sith after this? Let's see.
I don't know. I just find it funny. Fast and the Furious. I hate you.
I hate you!
uh,
like who cares? You know, obviously you want, you know, people walking out like skeletons pretty much and just spit and be like,
Wow, he really did just say
Wow.
Fast and Furious, and then he fucking pulls up Revenge of the Sith.
I remember Fast and the Furious when he got burned up by a volcano and then walked
Oh
out.
my god.
Like it's,
Jesus
I get what he's saying by the visuals, but it wasn't the right visuals. Like, um, but like,
You know,
yeah.
it's like boy in the striped pajamas, and it pulls a clip of fucking Jurassic Park.
Is the T Rex behind the fence? He's like, see, he's behind the wall, just like Boy in Striped Pajamas.
Yeah, boy in the striped pajamas.
But like,
Oh,
also, he looks like he's about to sneeze.
he looks disgusted at like a meme or something.
Yes, these are some good like things. Yeah, it's just a flesh wound.
If you just black out the
Well,
eyes and make the
yeah,
whole face white, it'd be like a ghoul mask.
I understand what he's saying by it. It's like, yeah, he's not. I understand, but Anakin's not fine. Okay, And here's the thing: like Star Wars has technology that can make him better. In fact, him
Yes.
him being burned up is actually what the Emperor is like. Oh, this is better than I imagined, and so he puts him in a suit so he can control him with his rage.
I
It's
think
like,
he's trying to say. I think he's
mm,
trying to say that Anakin is like how the people in Fast and Furious are, where they
yes.
can literally be damaged like that and they'd be fine.
Oh, absolutely. They don't. Action stars are the most immune. It's sort of like Commando when he goes up against like 100 people and they can't touch him with bullets. It's like, yeah, that's it. That's that's really it. So it's like I understand what he's saying, but the visuals, you can't say Fast and the Furious, and then right when you say that, he shows freaking Anakin. Uh,
Yeah, that didn't hurt me, kind of thing. But in something where you're
you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of Hot Shots Part Two, where I know you haven't seen it, but like Charlie Sheen is the main character in both those movies, and like someone hits him with a gun, he goes "ow," and then he hits him back and kills him. It's like it doesn't even bother him because get it, it's an action cliche that like they just get hit but they don't get injured. It's like it's freaking great. Anywho,
Fucking Charlie Sheen. I don't know, man. I was banging 7 gram rocks.
that must be a Two and a Half Men joke or something.
No, no, no. That's literally an interview with Charlie Sheen.
Oh, is that the Oprah Winfrey one? Wait,
I
that's a different one. Dang it!
yeah, there was like some interview with Charlie Sheen where he just said the most crazy shit.
Anywho,
supposed to really care for the characters, and the suspense and stuff like that. I think just having like one wound, one or two or something like that, is kind of enough, and just really focusing on the pain of that.
I think Die Hard does that pretty well, even though it is an action film. Where it's like, but by the end, he's like he needs medical attention, but he can't get it right away. And here's the thing: like when he's talking on the phone with this guy, I mean on the walkie-talkie with that cop outside, he's taking out the glass from his feet, and it really hurts. And like
You know something?
and the
Go
thing
ahead.
I love about that scene is that like while he's talking, he's distracting himself by asking questions. It's like really good subtle stuff in that scene as well. So it's like good job, filmmakers.
Something I thought about was Predator, like the first
hmm
Predator. Uh,
Um, yeah,
when Arnold gets like the gun shrapnel in his arm.
gun shrapnel. You
Yeah,
mean
remember the Predator
yeah.
shoots the gun and then the gun shrapnel goes into his arm.
Oh, I don't remember that for some reason.
It's where he says the famous line, "Run,
Get
get
to
to the
the
chopper,
chopper. Okay,
get to the chopper."
that's interesting because he gets. I guess he heals that arm, but it. But whatever.
In a way that I think can really make you feel and cheer on the character more. Like, oh man, I feel that pain. Come on, keep going, keep going. You can do it, you can do it. But yeah, I don't think most people have been stabbed a million times and shot a million times and set on fire and everything. And if you have, I doubt you walked away with just a limp.
With just a limp. I think he's being hyperbolic when he says just a limp. You know.
Yeah.
But like it is kind of funny. There are people that survive like miraculously out of things, and I think they're taking that experience, but take it to the nth degree. Like that guy who got Hacksaw Ridge, that guy who got shot for being a pacifist in World War II, is it? Or is it World War I? Where that guy's like, I'm not shooting anyone. I'm just gonna be a soldier, and it's like and he got like shot all the time, and it's like he lived though, so it's like it can happen. There's also that one in there was this guy who ran behind enemy lines and won the victory right in front of them, and he did it without shooting a shot. It was a what was that? What's that HBO show? Band of Brothers. Yeah, like and it's like these things can actually happen in history. there are people who drop from like high heights and live. They may not be, they may be crippled for the rest of their lives, but they survived. It's like, I'm just saying, like, sometimes truth is stranger than fiction, and some people just can't believe that sometimes. So it's like, um, when you separate it, it is kind of interesting how this belief is. It's all about how it's portrayed on the screen, you know, execution.
With that said, what are some of the tropes?
He's gonna comment. What do you call it when like um in engagement? Yeah, he's gonna go for engagement. What did you think? What tropes or cliches do you want?
Turning to cliches that you think we should probably
Yay, I was
stop.
right.
We're probably using too much of. Again, I don't want just cliches.
Please like and subscribe and give me some $40 on Patreon or some shit.
Send money to my.com. But like,
Please mail hundreds of cash directly to my house.
please bring spouts of cash directly to my house. I love that capital opinion video. But
Yeah.
but like but the you know what cliche I'm tired of? Put your comments down in the middle, subscribe, and ring the bell. Yeah.
Cliches are like the ones you hate, just the worst. You've hated them, from long ago and stuff. I'm talking about ones.
This video is sponsored by BetterHelp. That's the
Oh wait,
that's the biggest cliche.
that's the face of someone who's seen some shit.
It's like you're watching videos wrong. He's like, I've had up the crap this high, okay? I've had it up to you this high.
Ones that still kind of work okay. They're on the cusp of being done too much. They're on the cusp of being ruined, and you think they should probably pull out of so that we can preserve what's good about them. You know what I mean? Or at the very least, if they're gonna be done, keep adding new elements to it. I love to know your.
That's all that's being said. I'm gonna end it here.
Thoughts, and that's about it. And I'll see you next time. Take care.
You know what? Anywho, window capture over.
Oh
Man.
my god.
So what did you think about the video?
It was another Doug video where I just sat there going, okay.
Yeah, okay. That's why I don't want to do these too often, because that is what it comes down to.
Yeah, I mean, we had some discussion. We chatted. We talked.
We did.
We had this was just kind of a chill stream. But
Sort
we didn't
of.
talk about.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about crazy people. We
Sort of.
we just sort of.
Oh, Doug, you crazy person.
Oh, Doug, you're beautiful laddie, you.
Oh my gosh. That's cultural appropriation, no.
What do you mean?
Ah, just Scottish people. They're gonna come. And they're gonna come to English.
They're going to grind his bones into haggis.
Oh no. Oh
They're
man.
coming for you, Doug. You made fun of Shrek. You shouldn't have done that.
Oh, goodness me. Well, it was
Yeah.
still a good time, I think. And so yeah, if you wanna, you know what? I like that cliche of his. I'm gonna steal it. Like, subscribe, and comment. Ring that bell for notifications on the Godzilla video that I'll never do, because I still don't have a physical copy yet, and I'm kind of upset. So
Ring that bell so you can make me deaf and never have me listen
make me
to.
deaf. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny you say that, because like whenever somebody does that chime, like that ring, like the sin ring, they never auto balance it correctly, and I'm like,
No, they don't.
and that freaking tears my eardrums out. Like, stop it! Like, ding.
Oh boy.
Anywho,
I sometime this week, there's going to be the Froggo read along.
What's
That
that
me and
about? I hear it's gonna be wholesome fun.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be so wholesome, reading Sonic fan fiction. It's gonna be great.
Sonic fan fiction. I can't
I'm I'm
wait
g- I'm
until
gonna
like
I'm gonna lo- I'm gonna love being alive. I'm gonna wake up the next morning and go like, cool, time to not pull the trigger.
it's all of a sudden like there's a knock at your door, like what's this? And then like you open it and it's like and there's a Sonic 2 medal on the floor. It's like no.
Oh no! He has chosen you.
He's
You
like
are the next to lead us.
read my fan fiction. uh so yeah, maybe I'll be part of that. Who knows? I haven't decided yet. But still, I'm glad we're getting somewhere, and I'm actually gonna go to my Amazon and keep track of that stupid freaking DVD that's never coming to my door. But whatever.
It'll come someday. You'll wake up one morning and then the DVD will just be on your face.
I just want to. Oh, on my face. Brought to you by your paralysis, Steven. Like, oh,
You wake up, you see Godzilla's face like right on your eye. You're like, oh fuck!
it is kind of funny. But anywho, I think I'm going to stop it here. You guys have the fun. Why did you make sure to do all those things on your computer book?
Always remember to prevent forest fires.
Um, drink your school, go to milk. You know.
Yeah, kick a puppy.
Oh my gosh! Don't do that. Don't